I loved Quilt Fever so much. I think in large part because it's so rare to see a documentary that is so uplifting.
Yeah.
Usually when you think of documentary, you're like, oh man, what hard truth am I going to have to come to terms with today?
Right.
So how did you stumble upon this community, and what was that process like?
I think I was very much coming at it from the angle sort of that you're talking about. Like I had been working for an investigative news outlet for about a year in a film residency position, and it was amazing, great work. But I just knew that I needed to try and like basically like flex a different muscle. And so I was looking for something that was a little bit more lighthearted, but also could be really interesting. And so I was just looking around, just general producing, like looking for my next project. And I came across one quilter's blog, which led me to kind of sort of the whole world of it. And it really like checked off a lot of boxes of sort of what I was like looking to do. Yeah.
So how did you end up, who did you get in touch with, and how did you end up shooting them, and how did you choose your characters? Because I know, I mean, there's so many people that attend this event.
Yeah, there are a lot of people.
It must have been a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I think, well, I very much took a very relaxed approach in the sense that I didn't do a lot of pre-production in the traditional sense, where I didn't like have an outline of what I wanted the film to look like. I didn't have, in the sense of like, this character is going to say this and give us this part of this. It was supposed to be very much like, from me, feel like you were kind of going through this festival with me and experiencing it pretty much how I experienced it. I had made connections with the people that put on the festival before, but beyond that, I really hadn't done, the whole idea was that I would do a lot of field producing, and that's what it was. It was just like going up to people, or a lot of times them just coming up to me, because very much stuck out like a sore thumb, and being like, what are you doing? And then, you know, like some interviews happen that way too. But it was very much supposed to feel like the viewers going through the festival as I was.
Uh-huh. I love that one woman where it's her first time submitting, and then she wins that award, and you see her in the background behind the stage just freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so joyful to see all these people in this random community you would never, I mean, I've never thought about filming in that way before, so I just love that. You must have had a lot of footage, a lot of different interviews.
Yeah.
So what was the editing process like for you?
So it was I edited it. Now, it wasn't like I had 5 weeks and I have to have this rough cut done. It was very much I was working on other things, some things that pay money, and I was going back and forth, and I was coming back to the edit for about a year. And then the people that had funded the film were like, all right, Olivia, you really have to like finish this film. And so I was like, okay. And so I hired an editor, Nico Bovat, who is now in Portland. And she really took the film and gave it, you know, a lot of life after me sort of like beating at it for a year. And then I came back at the end and sort of finished it up, but we sort of went back and forth for a bit. It was very much having someone else's fresh eyes come into it, because you're right, there was a lot of footage. So it was really important, especially having experienced the festival, to have someone else's eyes come in and be like, that's really not worth it, you know, like that scene doesn't need to be there, and things like that.
And how did you find the story for that? Was that in post-production, or did you walk away from production having a sense of where you saw the film going?
Yeah, I think after, so it was really, I wanted the film to be very much built on moments. And so after seeing Anita win, which actually happened very early in the festival, because that's how the festival is structured, even though that's not how the film is structured. That was such like an intense, beautiful moment that I sort of knew that I wanted that to be a very like powerful final moment. And so it was, a lot of it was like knowing what the points I wanted to hit, and then where I wanted, like what could fit to build to those moments when I was approaching the edit. But like even just in general, like the whole idea of the film, like doing something event-based, like it's, you know, it's a finite 5-day festival. Like that was part of the reason I wanted to do the film, was to do something about that, because I hadn't done a film yet where it was like this is the end, you know, like there's no more further on. It was like looking at this festival, I knew I had a setting, and I knew I had like characters, didn't know who the characters were, and I knew I had a beginning and end. So the fun was like figuring out like everything else, I guess.
The fun.
Right.
Have any of the women or the people in the film seen the film yet, and what have their reactions been like?
Yeah, most of them have seen the film. Yeah, and Anita loves it. Anita has she's been on like I've seen her like commenting on the YouTube thing, you know, like clarifying things for people. Like someone was like, "Is quilting hard?" And she was like, "No, it's not that hard." You know, like really nice things. Yeah, it's been really cool to see quilters feel represented, and also just like, you know, I very much was showing one section of a huge world of quilting. So it's been cool too to learn more about other factions within the quilt world too that I've learned more and more about since the film.
Have you done any quilting yourself?
I have not. I got a sewing machine. I had this like grand, like romantic vision that like I was gonna start a quilt like while I was editing in post-production, and then like I would finish the quilt like as I was finishing but that like just like did not happen for a lot of reasons.
A lot of creative projects at one time anyway.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah. So I know that you've shown this film at several festivals already, and it's online, right? So what have the overall reactions been? I mean, I assume, have you been touring it this year? So
I premiered at AFI in 2019. So I feel
some pre-corona times.
Yeah, so
interactions.
Yeah, I feel like when people sort of are I feel like I'm one of the filmmakers less, like my film, I should say, was like very much least affected by COVID, because I mean, South by was canceled, so that was obviously really heartbreaking, like all things in relative, but like I think that getting it online during like right as COVID started, it's just like everybody's trying to figure it out right now. But overall, everything has been, people have been really positively reacting to it, and that has been, I guess, not a surprise, but it's been a surprise how much people are taking to like the positive message of it, which I guess just kind of tells me that it was a good, like, I think I made it because at the time I was like, oh, there's so much terrible thing in the world going around. I just want to do something else, you know? And then like, it's like the world just got worse or something. And it was like, everybody's like, oh, I really needed this right now. And it's like, it's right now, forever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, seriously. It's like really nice to have some little positive light come through in these times where it's just like everything is negative thing after negative thing. So is there anything else that you want to say about the film or your process or other projects? I hate to ask people, what are you doing? I hate being asked that.
Yeah.
You know,
nothing I can publicly talk about yet, but yeah, I think I just, you know, it's been really interesting to see how different festivals are trying to make the best of this, like yourselves included. So it's just really nice to see, I think, to kind of, since I kind of was the film's life in festival world sort of is one foot in both, you know, like I was doing the festivals and then it switched. It wasn't like I was premiering at South by or something like that. So it's, you know, I guess I just feel like everybody's trying to do the best they can, and it's nice to see, you know, sort of the film community banding together.
Mm-hmm.